It started with the sound of scraping wood, sharp, sudden, impossible to ignore. I had just pulled my chair back from the dining table when my nephew's small sneaker shot out and kicked it away. The leg screeched across the polished floor, echoing through the room like a slap. "Servants don't sit with us," 11-year-old Carter announced, his voice high and sure, his eyes locked right on mine. Mom said so. The entire table went silent. 17 faces froze in a strange, perfect stillness, forks held midair, laughter caught in throats. Even the clinking of glasses stopped. It was Sunday dinner, one of those big family traditions my sister Vanessa insisted on hosting every month in her grand colonial home. The kind of dinner where the table groaned under too much food, and every chair was filled with noise, gossip, and the smell of roasted garlic. But right then, everything was still. Vanessa, seated at the far end of the table, smiled faintly into her wine glass, her red lipstick marking the rim like evidence. "Carter," she said in a voice that was more amused than scolding. "That's not polite." He frowned. "But you said Aunt Margot is basically the help. You said she serves us." The words hit the air like a match to dry paper. Uncle Richard barked out a laugh first, loud and unashamed. My brother-in-law followed, and then my cousin, Jennifer, and then the rest. The laughter rolled around the room, building until the whole table was shaking with it. It wasn't nervous laughter, not the kind that fills a silence out of pity. It was genuine amusement, the kind of laughter people share when they feel safe, certain, united in the joke. My mother pressed a hand over her mouth, pretending to hide it, but her shoulders quivered as she tried to stifle a giggle. Carter sat proudly, his foot still positioned over the space where my chair should have been, ready to kick again if I dared to pull it back. I looked straight at Vanessa. She didn't even look embarrassed. She met my eyes and gave a small shrug, the kind that said, "Kids will be kids." I felt something settle deep in my chest. A cold, hard click, like a lock turning. Without a word, I picked up my purse from the entryway table and walked out the front door. Behind me, someone called my name, but I didn't stop. As the door swung shut, I heard Uncle Richard say, "Well, that was dramatic," followed by another burst of laughter. I sat in my car for a long moment, staring through the windshield at the glowing windows of the house I had just left. Inside, my family was probably already eating, already laughing again, maybe even making a joke about me leaving. The yellow light spilling out onto the driveway made the house look so warm, so inviting, but it wasn't. Not for me. When I finally turned the key in the ignition, my reflection in the rearview mirror looked calm. Too calm. At 9:47 p.m., my phone buzzed on the counter. A text from Vanessa. Finally gone. 2 words. Not, "Are you okay?" Not sorry about Carter. Just finally gone. I stared at the message for a full minute, the phone heavy in my hand. Then I walked to my home office, flipped on the light, and unlocked the tall metal filing cabinet against the wall, the one where I kept the papers that ran quietly beneath the family's world. 3rd drawer down. Folder labeled, Harrison Family Trust. 7 years ago, I'd created that trust, not long after I sold my tech company for $47 million. I was 29 years old, newly rich, a little lost, and determined to make sure my family would always be cared for. So I set aside $12 million to build a financial safety net for them. It was meant to be love, disguised as structure. Vanessa received $120,000 every year. Her 3 children each had education funds worth $500,000 apiece. My brother Thomas got $80,000 annually. His 2 kids had the same college funds. My mother received $60,000 per year, and a handful of cousins, nieces, and nephews all had smaller shares or savings plans tucked neatly within the trust. They all believed it came from Great Uncle Bernard, a wealthy relative who'd supposedly died and left a secret fortune. I'd invented him one night after Vanessa asked where the money was coming from. It was easier than explaining that I'd funded the entire thing myself, that I was the reason they never had to worry about tuition, or medical bills, or mortgage payments. To them, I was still just Margot. The single quiet one who worked in tech, some mid-level position no one cared to understand. Meanwhile, I'd been a co-founder, a CEO, and the architect of my own small empire. My net worth had quietly grown beyond 60 million, but my family never looked close enough to see it. At 10:30 p.m., I opened my laptop, found my lawyer David's contact, and began typing. David, please prepare immediate revocation documents for the Harrison Family Trust. I want all beneficiaries removed and the trust dissolved effective immediately. Transfer all assets to my personal accounts. Process this tonight if possible. I hit send. He called within minutes. Margot, I just read your email. Are you absolutely sure? Yes, completely. This trust supports your entire family, your sister, your brother, their children. I'm aware, I said evenly. What happened? So I told him. About the chair, about Carter, about the laughter, about the text that said finally gone. Silence. Then a soft, Jesus Christ. Can you process the revocation tonight? I asked. Yes, he said. I'll file it electronically. The transfers will go through by morning. But Margot, this is $12 million. This will devastate them. They've already received this quarter's distributions. After that, they'll have nothing. Then I'm giving them 3 months' notice, I said. That's more time than they gave me before deciding I didn't deserve a seat at the table. David exhaled. All right. You'll have confirmation by 6 a.m. When we hung up, I opened my text thread with Vanessa and typed 2 words, like your inheritance. Then I turned off my phone and went to bed. At 6:14 a.m., the phone was already ringing when I turned it on. Vanessa. I ignored it. She called again, and again. 14 times before I even finished my coffee. At 6:22, the email from David arrived. Trust revocation complete. All assets transferred to your accounts. Beneficiaries now show 0 balances. Documents filed with the county. It's done. At 6:45, a text from Vanessa. Call me right now. Something's wrong with the trust account. I didn't answer. At 7:02, my brother Thomas called. This time I picked up. Margot, what the hell is going on? I just checked the trust account. It's empty. That's correct, I said. What do you mean that's correct? Where's the money? I revoked the trust. The funds are back in my accounts. Your accounts? He sounded stunned. That's not your money, Margot. That's family money. That's from Great Uncle Bernard. There is no Great Uncle Bernard, I said calmly. I made him up. The trust was mine. The 12 million was mine. And now, it's mine again. There was silence on the line. Long, heavy silence. That's not possible, he finally said. It's all in the documents. I'm listed as grantor and trustee. The trust was revocable at my discretion. I exercised that discretion last night. Why would you do this? He demanded. Because last night your nephew kicked a chair away to stop me from sitting down. I said slowly. Because he said servants don't sit with us. Because 18 people, including you, laughed. Because Vanessa texted me finally gone like it was the best news she'd heard all week. Margot, he's 11. He didn't mean it like that. He meant exactly what he was taught, I said. He's learned from all of you that I'm beneath you, that I'm the help. Well, I'm done helping. This is insane, he said. Vanessa depends on that money. The kids' college funds should have been protected by their parents, not their aunt who apparently doesn't deserve a chair at the table. I hung up. By 8 a.m., I had 37 missed calls. By 9, someone was pounding on my apartment door. Through the peephole, Vanessa. Still in her pajamas, hair wild, eyes red from crying. Margot, she shouted. Open the door. We need to talk. Her voice shook. The trust is empty. Carter's college fund, Emma's, Jackson's, all gone. Every account says 0. I didn't move. This is because of last night? Because of a stupid joke? She cried. You're going to destroy my children's future over that? I called back through the door, my voice steady. It wasn't a joke, Vanessa. Your son kicked a chair to stop me from sitting down. He said I wasn't part of the family. You smiled. Everyone laughed. And then you texted me finally gone. That wasn't humor. That was cruelty. I didn't mean it like that, she said, voice breaking. How did you mean it? You always make things so awkward at dinners. You don't talk. You just sit there judging everyone. I sit quietly because every time I open my mouth, someone mocks me for being single or childless or working too much. At Mom's birthday, you said I was married to my laptop. 3 months ago at Easter, Uncle Richard asked if I was a lesbian because I don't date. I've learned to keep quiet. So you're punishing my children because your feelings were hurt. I'm ending financial support for people who treat me like hired help. That's not punishment. That's consequence. Margot, please, she begged. That money is an extra. It's how I pay for the kids' schools, Carter's hockey, Emma's private lessons. You should have thought of that before teaching your son to treat me like I don't belong. He's a child, she shouted. He repeated something I said out of context. What context, I asked, makes servants don't sit with us acceptable? Silence. Then, softly, you're really not going to fix this? There's nothing to fix. The trust is dissolved. The money is mine. It was always mine. We'll sue. We'll get lawyers. I am the grantor and trustee of a revocable discretionary trust. I have absolute legal right to dissolve it. Any lawyer will tell you that. Save your money. I heard her slide down the other side of the door, sobbing. I felt something twist inside me. A pang of something I didn't want to name. But I didn't open it. After 10 minutes, she was gone. Over the next week, the backlash came in waves. My phone filled with messages. My mother showed up on the second day, her face pale, eyes pleading. Think of the children, Margot, she said softly. They're innocent. The children watched 18 adults laugh while I was kicked away from a table, I said. They're not innocent. They're learning. She covered her mouth, stunned. Maybe, I added quietly, this will teach them something different. By that afternoon, I had a 5-page email from Thomas, listing every favor the family had ever done for me. Every holiday invitation. Every so-called kindness. Conveniently, forgetting that most of those instances involved me writing checks. Uncle Richard left a voicemail, calling me a vindictive who was destroying the family over nothing. Vanessa sent 43 texts over 3 days. They started with apologies, moved to bargaining, then landed on threats. I'll tell everyone what you did. The whole family will cut you off. Mom will never speak to you again. You'll regret this for the rest of your life. I didn't respond to any of them. On day 8, my cousin Jennifer called. She'd been at the dinner, laughed along with everyone else, and received a modest annual distribution from the trust. Margot, I need to say something. I'm not calling to beg for money back. I'm calling to apologize. I was silent, surprised. What happened at dinner was awful. I laughed because everyone else was laughing and I didn't want to make waves, but I've been thinking about it all week. Carter physically prevented you from sitting down. He announced you weren't worthy of eating with the family, and we all just laughed. Yes, that was wrong, fundamentally wrong. And Vanessa's text finally gone. That was cruel. You didn't overreact. We were horrible to you. Thank you for saying that. I know I don't deserve to ask this, but would you consider talking to Vanessa? Not about the money, just about what happened. Think she genuinely doesn't understand how bad it was. Jennifer, she texted me, finally gone. She understood exactly what she was doing. You're right. I'm sorry. I hate seeing the family fall apart. The family fell apart when everyone decided I was beneath them. I'm just making the financial reality match the social one. After we hung up, I sat in my apartment and thought about Carter, 11 years old, being taught that some people don't deserve chairs at the table, being taught that family can be divided into those who serve and those who are served. I opened my laptop and drafted an email to David. David, I want to establish 3 new education trusts, $500,000 each for Carter, Emma, and Jackson. The funds will be accessible, when they turn 25, not 18. Conditions: they must complete a 4-year degree and 1 year of volunteer service work. The trust will be managed by an independent trustee, not me, and Vanessa will have no access to or knowledge of them until the kids turn 18. I don't want them punished for their parents' behavior, but I want them to learn something about service before they get this money. Draft the documents. Marga. I hit send, then opened a new message to Vanessa. Your children's original education funds are gone, but I've established new ones under different terms. They'll learn about them when they turn 18. The funds will require them to earn degrees and complete service work before accessing the money. I won't tell you the amounts. You'll have to trust that I've taken care of them despite you teaching Yorson that I'm the help. As for your annual distribution and everyone else's, those are gone permanently. Get used to living on what you actually earn. And Vanessa, I'm not the one who destroyed this family. You did that when you taught your son to kick chairs. I sent it before I could reconsider. Her response came within minutes. I hope you're happy being alone with your money. I replied, I'm happier than I was trying to sit at a table where I wasn't welcome. I blocked her number, turned off my phone, and looked around my quiet apartment. No family dinners, no holiday obligations, no more pretending that writing checks made me worthy of basic human respect. The next morning, I donated $5 million to an organization that provided meals for homeless families. People who understood what it meant to be excluded from tables. People who knew the difference between servants and family. Some people inherit wealth. Some people inherit cruelty. And some people learn eventually that you can't buy respect with trust funds. But you can stop funding disrespect.